here today with the lovely Mary Douglas Drysdale. Welcome, Mary. Yes. Here, come on into the scene a little bit because I wanted to, first of all, talk with Mary, but not only did I want to do that, I wanted to introduce so many of my friends and people that follow me to the true world of design. And who better to start with than Mary Douglas Drysdale? Mary has been on now, I think 72 covers, is it?
Yes.
Yes, 72 covers of magazines.
There have been some international ones, I think, that I haven't been able to count.
Oh, my word. Well, I'm sure, yes. She, to me, is just a true American icon of design. I have been following her for many years, and it's funny, we actually met at High Point Market.
Right.
And the first time, I'm not going to lie, I thought, oh my goodness, it's Mary Douglas Drysdale. But after a few meetings, we became very tight friends.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, I love this lady to death. It's funny, we did something together through High Point where we did, it was a little bit of a High Point fun video. And so we did that. And then the second time, we just happened to be walking around High Point and literally bumped into one another and said, well, hey, you want to walk around together? And she did. So I got to walk around with Mary Douglas Drysdale right here. And so we went and did the town, didn't we? We walked all over the place.
We did. It was great walking around with Jill because actually Jill is the one who knows everyone and where to go next.
That's right. That's right. Yes, we did have a fun day. Yes, a tiring day because it was our last day, and we just kind of ran into one another. But we kind of wanted to go to the same places, and so we did. And with that being said, Mary, good Lord, has been to High Point. Goodness, do you even know how many times now you've been?
Actually, you know, I went for the first time many years ago, and I didn't start going back to High Point Market until perhaps 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Well, it was really when High Point was adjusting to accommodate designers and architects as opposed to just furniture stores. So it hasn't been that long. But last year, in both of the markets, I was actually a style spotter for High Point Market. So that was really actually a different view of High Point Market. But it's a great place to go. There are 75,000 people who go each market.
Oh, yes. Yes, there are. And lots of walking, so wear your walking shoes.
I always make sure that I find Jill. She knows where all the events are.
Yes, we definitely know how to hit them, don't we?
Absolutely.
We've gone to several over the years, and but I wanted Mary to be one of my first design interviews because, again, she truly is an American icon, designer. I mean, think about it, Mary. You are. I know that you're going to be shy and not think so, but she has just been and done so much. And what I think of as a true, on the architectural side as well, what I love about Mary is her attention to detail. It's funny, we were just joking, I gotta say this real quick, that in her photography, I'm here, by the way, in her home right now. She's always so kind and lets me come here when I get to go to the Design Center here in D.C. And we have so much fun, and we're here in her beautiful home with one of her magazine covers right here, and many throughout all 3 floors. And so, but I wanted to talk about it because in one of her covers, she has it was just a bundle of onions in the picture. And your attention to detail, those small little things that nobody really thinks about, but in the end, color and just a little piece of, I don't know, nature makes.
So, you know what I have to say about that is that what's been interesting for me is because I love history, I love architectural history, but I also love to make things memorable, and that for me usually involves bringing in a little bit of the unexpected. And so it's personally interesting or amusing for me, if you will, to do a project which is perhaps federal or it's French, and it's a very, very seriously done from the architectural perspective, and to place, on the table a bowl of peanuts Actually, white onions are really beautiful. So all you have to do is sort of peel off a few layers, and they last forever. They're great shapes.
Yeah.
I do my best accessorizing at Whole Foods.
Well, we were joking about this because it was so funny because of all places, it happened to be the Richmond Symphony Show House that you did the onions. Which, as many of y'all know, I recently did that 2 homes, and you know what? From your onions, I thought about it. I've often used different fruits and whatnot, and I had some red apples because many of you know I love my red.
Absolutely. But you know, it's really, when you use something that is edible, it really is, it communicates on some level hospitality.
Yes.
It is real. You know, it's not fake in any way. And you get the best colors. No one has ever been able to do color like Mother Nature.
That's right.
And so these, you know, tangerines, apples, you know, artichokes, onions, peanuts, depending upon your overall color scheme. They're great ways to, in my view, to accessorize and to bring in both the unexpected and, well, snacking material. True,
definitely so. But again, so many of y'all may not know, I'm going to call her Mary, but it's Mary Douglas Drysdale. So I wanted to introduce you to her because this is my world that you see so much on my different Instagrams or, you know, social media, because this is what I do, and I go and see, goodness, panels that you've been on and so many different things, and learned from people like Mary, because I think, you know, we've been hearing so much the word community, and we truly are a community, and it's best for, especially women, for us to join and, you know, learn off one another.
I think that learning is such a key word. I'll tell you, one of the most satisfying things that I can say about a career in interior design or interior architecture is that each project that you do, because the project has to be driven not by just your own personal style, but by filtering the needs, wants, and, you know, dreams of your clients. Every project is the opportunity to learn and to expand your skill set. And I have done over 500 projects, and I'm very proud to say that I have over a 90% return rate, and so I've done multiple projects for many of those clients, and it's great. That's the best part. You're really making, you're creating useful beauty. You're doing things that improve the quality of the living of other people.
That is so true, my friend. With our mason jars, isn't this cute?
Yeah,
yes.
Cheers.
Another thing I'd love to bring up is Mary is actually a Southern girl. She's from Charlottesville, Virginia, those of you that do not know that, and grew up in the halls of UVA. And
I did.
You really did?
My father went to the University of Virginia, and he went to the University of Virginia Law School. He has been a benefactor to the University of Virginia, and I spent my early years in Charlottesville, having the freedom to run the campus, if you will, or the lawn at the University of Virginia.
That's right.
But, you know, we had private tours of Monticello and many historic houses, and it was a great place to grow up. And the historic architecture represented the best of the best, certainly.
And just in my opinion, from what I know of design, I see that classicism and way that you must have learned and grew up in your work. I see it. It's so detailed. It's so perfect. I love just...
Well, I sort of went from Charlottesville, if you will, to another dream of mine, which was to go to Paris, and I did. I lived in Paris for 3 years, and I had my own grand tour. I spent 3 years traveling through France, Italy, Belgium, Sweden, Germany, Denmark. Well, I should pull out the map, which I no longer have, but I traveled quite a bit, and it was an amazing experience learning of other cultures and seeing how at present and in the past, those very rich cultures express themselves architecturally and from a decorative point of view. I loved it, and it changed my life, certainly. So it's the combination of Charlottesville and Paris.
For sure. Travel. I tell so many people that. Travel as much as you can because,
Right.
And that's one thing that I'm sure you ask many of your clients is, where have you been? What have you done? Let's use that and bring that in.
Well, it's really changed a lot, even in, 20 or 30 years. That,
Sure.
Everybody travels now.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, and that's really an interesting way to look at our industry, because if you go back to, the beginning of the 20th century, let's say, many of the people who were the great sort of train and steel and industrial magnates who grew great fortunes actually had not been abroad.
Yeah.
And so they hired people who would go to France and Italy and England to bring them style. But the world has changed.
Definitely.
And so the role of the designer has changed along with it, because now the people that we work with, have been around the world, not in 80 days perhaps, but 6 times. Travel is something. And so we have to bring different skills and a different eye and different assets to the projects
Sure.
in today's world than what was expected then.
For
But everybody
sure.
travels.
Yes, I know. And to me, and I know for you as well, that's one thing that I love to do is to find something that they love and that they found in some who knows where place and kind of decorate around that.
But you're identifying the purpose is not to find things necessarily that you just love. The thing is to find the purpose is to find things that they love.
They love. That's right.
And
That's what I always say. Yes.
People, there are 2 ways of design. Well, there are many different ways, but there are at least 2 different ways of designing. One is the way that when the design professional says, yes, it's my way, and I know more about style than anyone in the world, and so I'm going to create a space that is my taste for you. The other is more of a problem-solving way, where the design professional, the designer, the architect, the landscape architect, say, how do we solve this problem? How long is it going to take? How much money do you have? And how do you want to spend it? And we're going to work with you. And I myself put myself definitely in the second category of problem-solving versus simply style-centric.
Well, and that is definitely evident in your work. Not only is she an interior designer, but you're almost a full project manager, if you think about it, with the people that you work with, from all the people that you mentioned, architects.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, in our office, my skills, a lot of my skills actually are in our space planning, interior detailing, millwork, that sort of thing. So that's why we do a lot of work in renovation, because we do all of the drawings. But project managers, we are, absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm one of those people. I want to see those jobs done.
As a matter of fact, that's what you were doing. She's leaving tomorrow, if you can believe it.
Well, this week is going to be very hectic, I
Yes.
guess, because tomorrow I'll be headed to Boston. Tomorrow morning early, I'll be headed to Boston to meet with some contractors and some specialty subcontractors to have a look at a penthouse that I'm doing in Back Bay. I'll come back to Washington, and on Wednesday I'll be leaving for California for a site meeting, a project meeting in Pebble Beach, California.
One of my favorite places.
And next week, I think it's Tuesday, I'll be in Manhattan to work on a Park Avenue apartment that I'm renovating there.
So as you can see, a true icon. But, and yes, to fit me in, this just goes to show you what a lovely woman this is, to fit me in the night before she is leaving. And
Jill is fantastic. I just want to say that. She is, a delightful, charming, wonderful person. And I could never say no to Jill. I would always just want to support her in what she's doing.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm blushing.
No, the truth of the matter is it's very hard work. One thing that I'd like to say is that I think that many people who, when they hear the term interior design, actually think of the services of interior decoration. And they think that it's not. It's a lot of just picking fabrics.
Yeah.
But it's actually it's very complicated. The project that I'm doing on the West Coast is about 16,000 square feet, and if you're going to space plan that and detail it and then furnish it, and you are doing that for other people who have a timeline. You have to you have to have excellent management skills, I'll say that. You have to, work on Saturdays and Sundays if you don't, and respond to emails and take calls at times that are well beyond 9 to 5. So that's the part I think that people don't always see, is that it is, to do the projects that I do, which are world-class projects, you have to have world-class service.
That's right. Definitely so. And you will get it with her. And, we're sitting here in her beautiful office with her magazine covers. We've got, she's been showing me her blueprints of different projects that she's doing. And one thing there are two other little things I want to talk about before we end is, I'm going to pinpoint one thing, is your use of art. I love art, and I know Mary does too, because just by her work and the things that she shows. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've actually I've had sort of a little way that's a little mantra, if you will, that goes through my head when I do any project, and it is really a reflection of how I see a project or a building unfurl, and it's art, architecture, and decoration. And so I think that projects can be overly decorated, frankly, and they conceal the architecture. That's really unfortunate. Sometimes there are projects that are seem so spare and architectural that, and not in a grand way, but in a severe way, they seem empty.
Yeah.
But for me, there is no project that feels as interesting as it might without art. And in the projects that I've done, because I'm from Washington and I've done a lot of historic projects, oftentimes the people that I've worked with have enjoyed contemporary art, and that is a very special sort of relationship.
Yes.
Because the contemporary, the love of historic architecture and truly old buildings, you don't want to rip that out. You want to respect that. You want that to
certainly
to be preserved and enhanced. But there have to be clues, or there have to be filters that also say, but I live in today.
Yes.
I'm not trying to live in a museum.
That's right.
I live in today's world. And so the art has been, at least for the clients that I've had, contemporary art, big, bold contemporary art. Well, that's an interesting juxtaposition,
Sure.
But art of any kind.
Yes.
Photography, beautiful. Well, truth be told, I've never worked with anyone who had old masters, but who appreciates a more traditional type of art. I just think that that's what completes it. That's what makes something feel like home. It's considered. It's something that people chose and collected, and is displayed prominently, and it's home. It's a good balance between art, architecture, and decoration. So I can't imagine doing a project that didn't have art in it.
No, definitely
or
not.
Design or architecture.
Or an onion.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, one last little thing is I want to know if there was anything that you haven't done. Is there one thing that you want to do that you haven't?
Well, actually, there's more than one thing. But
Sure, of course, yeah.
But there is one thing that I definitely want to do.
What's that?
And I would love to do a book, a monograph of the various projects that I've done. I would be very interested in doing that, because it would be, a way for me to sort of look back over the years. But it also shows, would show, or might show.
Yes.
That one doesn't just have to develop one bag of tricks and repeat them. The projects that I have done are big and they are small. They are modern and they are traditional. And that's what's kept it interesting, because I focus on the clients and I focus on their needs. And so I would like to do that, and I would dedicate it to my father, who very sadly passed last fall, and I had promised him that I would do this.
Oh.
So I intend to.
Well, then we have to make it happen. So for all of you book writers or whoever in our world, or whoever really, that's why I'm trying to bring you in to the design world, because design now, it's not, as you mentioned in the beginning, I feel like it encompasses so much more than it used to. It does involve travel. It does involve multifunction. It does involve like art and everything.
Well, there's so many, there are so many areas of specialization. I mean, just think about it. Even within the ambit of the home, kitchen and baths. The KBI, kitchen and bath industry, is a whole subset specialty. Flooring is its own specialty. Security, music. There's HVAC. It really is a very complex field, and you can't do it by yourself. It really needs, all of the bits and pieces have to be coordinated very carefully together. Sure. With responsibility for someone else's budget and timeline, and that's what makes it. It's not just fun. That's what makes it a challenge, and that's what makes it so much of an achievement when you do it well.
I'm going to end it on that note, because that was a great way to oh my goodness, because you have had so many achievements. And again, it's funny because I think of her as a friend, but also she is this true American icon. And I feel so blessed and lucky to have you not only as a friend, but to be able to learn from you and to know what you've done and sacrifice. And
here's my last word here. Pick your clients well. And clients who are looking for designers, make sure that you have good chemistry.
That's right. Always good chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. That you can connect, you can communicate. That's because there will be things that will be controversial.
Oh yeah,
except for Jill.
Well, thank you so much, Mary, and I appreciate your time and
wonderful.
You,
thank you,
as always. So thank you, and here's to Mary Douglas Drysdale. All right, and we'll end it on that note. And again, if you would like to be interviewed by me, I would love to come out and interview you. So I've started with the best here, but that doesn't mean that I can't go and interview anyone out there. So please give me a call, Jill Erwin, and maybe, you never know, I'll give you that JEI check. This lady, she's beyond the check. All right, so bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.